Hello, everybody. It has been a long hiatus. Hello, Barbie. Where is my master moderator? This is so nice to see you. Look at that. Look at how nice new thing you have. Nice new icon I think you have. So I don't know how many will join today. I really hope that people remember it's the first day of fall. It's the end of my hiatus. So we are going to have it twice a month now, with different dates all the time, because I guess Christmas is going to be again a little mini break. But man, you know what? Like, I mean, I missed you, but I have also got lots of rest, and I really needed it after 6 years of really not having a break. So I'm so looking forward to the reading today. So Barbie is our master moderator. Actually, Lorna is joining me in the background. She's going to be helping with putting the icons, or just wait for Barbie to post something and just put basically her up. It's going to work either way. I really like Barbie's because she puts like amazing emojis that she somehow manages to find. I mean, I'm a marketer and I still don't find such good emojis. So without further ado, let's jump in. I don't want to make it too long because we did manage to get a really good day today after having a really bad summer. And oh my God, I need to tell you before we start, because we are now in Mercury retrograde shadow. Hello, Lorna. And so oh my God. They hacked into all my accounts. Somebody was making purchases through eBay, through my credit cards. I was not able to retrieve all the money. People basically said, well, the purchase has been sent, so we are not refunding it. Calling, contacting lawyers, writing letters. I was really angry every day. It was just really bad, man. Not to mention that my alternator on a car died down second time in a year and a half. So it was interesting. I really hope it was much better for you. But this was Mercury retrograde in Virgo, and my Mercury is in Virgo, and I think this is why it really affected me. So I guess live and learn through kind of like experience. So this is like Libra transition. So happy birthday to all Libras. We will be covering all signs during the sun transition in your signs. You know that I do put October, but it's really transition. So that's something to keep in mind. So we are starting with Libra. I'm going to put the next one, which you can guys guess. I mean, nobody can see it, even not me. So you can guess, and whoever guesses, that gets their card drawn. So let's put this pretty stone that I use to kind of energize the environment aside. We're going to put it here out of line, and let me put a stamp for Libra here. So again, happy birthday, Libra. And so let's start. Libra, 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 Libra. Let's do this. What is for Libra? What is the sun transition bringing? Like, you have a jumper, and the jumper is Nine of Swords reversed. Because I have ascendant Libra, I kind of like was like really looking at this card that jumped out. So it was really interesting because look at this. Look what we have. We have the Nine of Swords reverse. And that's one of those dreaded cards where you feel it's coming to you from all the sides, right? You just heard me saying, like, I really felt whatever it happened, it happened. It looks like it was somebody who I hired at work to do something for work. They managed to get into my accounts. And it was really lovely. But this card basically now reverses over here. So when this reverses, it means it's after, it's a fallout, it's what you're dealing, it's a cleaning the house, it's organizing things, it's kind of like putting things together, it's working on the things, it's kind of like reorganizing yourself. And it all makes sense really to me because my ascendant is also very strong. But it's really weird because I should have a different ascendant now. You get ascendant according to where you are born, which apparently most of us are born just in one spot. But apparently, there is a school of astrology that also says that when you move and you move significantly away from when you were born, like you also assume a different ascendant, which in this area where I live, for me, that would be Leo, which makes it very complicated because Leo is also my moon and ascendant. So that's where the complications can kick in. Before I kind of like reveal all of these things here, I'm just going to pick one more over here and see over here. And we have faith over here. That's really positive, really high vibration. So this is a very low vibration here. 9 of Swords, when you feel everybody's poking at you, everybody's kind of like doing things. This kind of like really is now the healing time. It's like time where you not only regroup, but like you actually really learning. 9 of Swords, like swords are really harsh lessons, but they're like a little bit more like they're easier on us air signs, right? And the reason that they're easier on us because we already move fast. We can actually kind of like deal with that much easier. I don't think that these swords have much effect on the water signs, to be honest, because like swords don't do much in the water, even though I guess you can harm people with a sword, but it gets ineffective after really a close kind of like period of time. What I really like about that is that we have this Knight of Pentacles. And even though this is Pentacle and should be technically Earth, I always see this card as friendly Aquarius. I always see this as some kind of support, as kind of like embracing differences, embracing people who are different, and kind of like dealing with those issues. And again, this is kind of like R&R. It's really needed R&R. And I think that's Libra's territory. R&R, they're like the experts. What you can do, what you can organize, how can you deal with that? It's absolutely kind of perfect, kind of like going on in that direction, right? So I think Libra, the entire month is going to be somehow repositioning for you. It's also having a faith over here, the card that you got, like, I mean, like a higher message. So this entire story here is talking about that, you know, like, I mean, faith. I think it should be this woman over here. Her name is Faith also. So she's just trying to move forward, but she finds like there is a wall just like right in front of her, right? So she starts to kind of like scream for help. She's starting to pray, right? And then these great spirits really appear and, you know, tell her that, look, you know, you're actually only holding a brick and you're thinking it's a wall, but it isn't. Just put a brick back in the path and it's going to really open up for you, right? So she puts the brick in the ground and just steps forward and her life opens up. So for you, Libra, you have to rely on a friend. I think it's going to be one in particular one. Somebody, that friend could be actually earth sign, somebody who is really slow and steady, or doesn't move very fast, but they're there for you. Or it's going to be some kind of like influence. Also, because that's a very frightening card. I see Lorna, you also have Libra. Look at this, like 3 of us are all connected. So it's really interesting because here, that fears, we all have fears, and these fears manifest differently. If we are not making enough money, we have a fear of like not putting like things together, not meeting like ends meet, right? Like if we kind of like are getting older, like fear of aging, like you name it, like, right? But as we mature, we can deal with these fears in a more mature way, in a more analytical way. For you as an air sign, dealing with fears is like very much during analysis and kind of like how you really deal with this. This also tells me that you have a lots of magnetism here because like the air is coming through, it is helping you as well. So there'll be lots of miracles around. You have to trust yourself that you can lay this ground stone and that you can move forward, and that going forward is going to benefit you, and that you're not that you not go in some kind of like knee-jerk reaction, and that you're not using energy in a kind of like self-defeating way. So guys, if you need to reach out for help, cry for help, and the help will appear. But don't forget to pace yourself, because R&R is in order this month. And did anybody guess anything? We don't have, just have few people here, and only 2 said hello. So I would really encourage everybody to say hi after a long hiatus. It would be nice to kind of like hear friendly voices over here. So if you guys don't guess, Barbie, Lorna, whoever is online, oh, there it is, Sagittarius. I'm going to shuffle this in the meantime. So this one is going to be revealed, and I'm going to pull another one. Cam. There. I was looking at Capricorn. What do I make out of it? All right, so let's see. It will be Virgo. Okay, so I really blame Virgo for this horrible Mercury retrograde. So let me just put a stamp over here. So for Virgo, you see Lorna here, if you go on the side and you click on the banners, that you figured out, like, yay! Lorna, you rock. Absolutely, she got it. So training was 0 seconds, and she figured out everything on her own. So let me just do, thank you, Barbie. Let me put stamp here, and let's do Virgos. So Virgo, what is happening here? And like what I usually do, Lorna, like when I see Barbie posting her stuff in the comments, then I just switch it to hers, because she's like freaking amazing with her stuff. So, oh, look at that. You have Temperance. Because now I'm connecting every reading with Libra, right? Guys, you know that. So we have something. Oh my God, look at all these majors. Who has a strong Virgo in there? Who has a strong, oh my gosh, you have 3 majors. So Virgo, it's going to be very intense. I really have to tell you. So when I see majors, guys, I kind of like always go into thinking, it's not going to be much of the free will here, right? Like we always have this quote unquote free will. But, you know, when we have majors, this means you have lots of things on your plate. So just like think about the boss comes in your office and say, I want this, this, and this. And like generally you can organize yourself, you can kind of like take a little kind of like a pause. But now like you're really thinking, oh my gosh, I have 3 times my regular workload. What do I do? Like luckily you have really good and really positive majors. So you have Temperance that really talks about balance. Temperance also talks about ability to find something unique, ability to born something unique. Like that's why Temperance is manifesting in the sign of Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is half horse, half human. So these 2 different kind of things, of fire, right, and earth, has merged and created something completely unique. And that's what really Temperance talks about it, right? That, you know, we have to live and let live. It also talks about lots of patience. We're talking about patience. And so we have a fire here. We have earth and fire, and we have air and earth, and we have air over here. So there is a little bit of ground because you're like earth element, but the Empress is really talking about finding peace with being a family, finding peace with either your parents or mother or with your children, because the Empress really talks about it and has this like Venus. That's really card is Venus, and talks about enjoying beauty, enjoying nicer things in life, right? And Magician is saying, right now, you can do whatever you want. I really have to say, Virgo, that I'm a little bit surprised with this great reading. Not that I don't wish it on you, I really do. It's generally that after our transition, and we just finished transition of Virgo, so happy belated birthdays to all of you. Generally, after our transitions, we are exhausted. But this transition, I was just saying in the introduction, my Mercury is in Virgo, and I was describing like just absolutely horrible Mercury retrograde. That was last month during your transition, during your sign reading. And it was just incredibly difficult for me. I don't know if you had the same experience, given that basically not only your Mercury, but your Sun is basically ruled that way. If you had kind of like some reshuffling from the past that had to come to the surface, etc., right? But this is showing me it's a great stabilization. You're like actually really feeling in your element. Whatever it was, it kind of like got you to the point. And why is maybe this way? And like why is it that whatever happened, like you're like now moving forward in extremely productive way, almost like, oh my gosh, why did you get now this card on top of this like really really great thing? So this is something about communication, and communication still has to do with Mercury. Keep in mind Mercury is not retrograde anymore, but it's in the shadow, which to me, and that really sucks. For all of us who have this Mercury, instead of 3 weeks for everybody else, we actually have 3 weeks before, 3 weeks during, and 3 weeks after. So we kind of have a 9 weeks, three to four times a year. So that kind of sucks. But this isolation is really interesting card. It's kind of like, okay. So these are expansion cards, these three, and they're majors, and they're all about stability, but it's also about advice in how to move forward. So magician basically just say, look, no matter what you do, you're going to succeed, but be patient. Don't forget your nearest ones, and then kind of like spread your wings and fly. This card here is really talking about somebody who kind of like has this kind of like suit in their closet, but that person is a little bit socially awkward or shy, and they always turn invitations down, right? Because it was like, "Oh, I'll be really silly wearing this suit," right? And also kind of like it is somebody who is really so stuck in their routine, and that would kind of like really alter it, right? This is also a person who is trying to meet other people, but it kind of like always finds, I would not say fault, because that's not really how I'm sensing this card. Sort of like not of this person caliber. We all can meet people, but do you click with them? That's a different story. Here is like my neighbor, who actually is a Virgo, and he is 82. He's dating. He met this woman. He fell in love. His wife passed of cancer several years ago, and so this woman is, and this is to me amazing, right? I'm looking at their dating and I'm finding this adorable, because that woman and him, they're going to the concerts, they're like going hiking, they're always doing something. I'm just tired looking at it. Like I am sort of like a person, that Libra in me, that I can sit in a chair and watch people pass by and kind of like people study. But yeah, I do kind of like walk with my dog, but hiking is not going to be my thing, and not especially every day in and out. But I just realized how important it is for a person to click, and both of them really like it. This is not something that was just created. Both of them had this kind of lifestyle. So that is kind of like finally finding the right person over here, right? So I really think over here that this is really telling you that this is the right time right now. Whatever you have been waiting for, whatever you have been hesitating, it is time. Hi, Matrix. Hi. It is time right now to actually spread your wings, right? So it is enough of isolation. It's enough of studying. It's enough of preparation. Now it is really time to kind of like go forward. If you find yourself doing excuses or over preparing, you just need to pinch yourself and say, we need to move ahead and go further. So let's kind of like do it. So, all right, let's go the next guesses. We had the Matrix visiting, but then Tiger, I don't know what is the Tiger and Matrix. Whenever Matrix comes, Tiger wants to be a part of it, and then Makers freaks out, and then never it works out. And I think Tiger just wants to be a part, and Matrix never accepted him. What can you do? So Barbie has Taurus. Hello, Creative Guru. How are you? You awake? Well, it's 12:20 over here. So hey, okay. So you listen, and we are going to chat over here. So let's see which sign is the next one. We have the Aries and Taurus guesses. I didn't pull the next one. I'm going to pull the next one. Ooh, Lorna. Lorna is on fire. I'm going to put here Lorna aside. So Aries goes next. There we go. The psychic ability keeps on going. You know what I have been doing last month to kind of like keep sanity? I'm going to put here the stamp. I was doing this remote viewing. Have you heard about it? Remote viewing is basically was a CIA program, which was kind of like using psychic abilities to picture places and people that are completely different side of the planet, and even move in the future in the past, right? So there is like this site where you can join, where you can be approved. So I was approved if I passed this initial tests, but I was not very successful in guessing anything for a while. So I just like stopped submitting. Kind of like the daily send you like kind of like a request, and they ask you what they're showing. Like I completely missed it. I think I had, I don't know, 5% guesses, like, which was pretty dismal for somebody who quote unquote is supposed to be psychic. And then when I just stopped submitting, they contacted me and they said, no, that there is like certain kind of radar that was in the area, and that they find that during this radar, that things are like always lower, and that was within the percentage of everybody else, and that radar is going to be turned off. And I think it was on the 18th of September. And to try it again. So I said, okay, let's give it a second shot, and that's it. And then in the second shot, I actually have 67% guessing, which is like one of the highest that they ever had. So that was really, really interesting over here. So that's where I found that this Mercury retrograde worked really well, right? Because it kind of like allowed me to put all of that energy and work on it. So let's see, Aries. Aries. What do we have here? Aries. Ooh, we have 5 of Wands. We have 8 of Pentacles. And we have the Star reversed. And let me just get one of these. And we have Perfection here. So Aries. 5 of Wands is really interesting card. Like, not to go into every little minuscule detail about this 5 of Wands, but like, let's just see the obvious. We are seeing 5 kitties over here, like playing. Like, there's like, I don't know if you can see it. It's a little mousy over here, and I think they're all trying to get there. But because they're like focused on each other, they're really not going to get there, especially when the card reverses. Basically, the target just escapes them, right? So it really tells me about possibly being scattered in different directions over here for you. I also see that there is like some level of suffering over here. And there is like also need for kind of like really straightening things out, because like the 8 of Pentacles to me always talks about agreements and contracts and analysis, saying that the small details will come to escape you, that things are going to kind of like not really work out the way that you hoped, unless you really make sure that everything is kind of like taken care of, right? These 2 cards, however, worry me, the Perfection and the Star reversed. The Star reversed means, first of all, the Star represents Aquarius. So either, hello, Cheryl, how are you doing? Either you have something in your life that really disconnect you from the friends and from people who should be kind of like your core kind of like chain. Maybe you have an Aquarius in your life with whom there is like not a really good relationship of some sort. And also then we have this Perfection over here. And this is kind of like really interesting, because it's really talking about this woman who is naturally beautiful, who kind of like really doesn't have to wear a makeup. It's just like being born like a cat. Every single picture of you is going to be beautiful, right? But she also feels that this is not something that she has been given. right? By nature, by God, whatever you want to interpret this, but that's something she worked on. But truth is that she really has the beautiful natural features. And she keeps giving other people advice all the time. And these advices could be kind of like harsh and hurtful. Well, your child is overweight, right? Or, you would be better off using like something for your wrinkles, right? So she kind of like feels that she can encroach on the people's territory and do these kind of things. But then she kind of realized that people just nod and say hi, but they kind of like really get busy doing their own stuff. And she realized they're actually ignoring her, right? So she went to a village guru, and she asks her about it. She's like, I am just helpful. I'm just really telling them something that's going to be a shortcut for them. But, like she's being told that, honesty without kindness is really cruelty. And that's what people felt, like maybe it's something that bothers them in the first place, and that maybe they already know it, and it's not need of anybody's interference, right? And she kind of like looked deep inside of herself, and I don't know if you can see it in the picture. There's like another little kind of like one coming through, right? So she realized that she actually is not seeing beauty in herself, and that's why she's seeing the world through different eyes. So I don't know, guys. Aries says, are you being hard on yourself, or are you being hard on others? You really need to start looking in what is like really good in you. And like this is really talking about consistency and doing really small things, right? Like, I mean, there's like a fighting and bickering. There are like people who maybe cut you off. And maybe, I mean, you're Aries after all, you're like really blunt. So it could be like a little part of that perfection in you as well, that you have alienated others, but also it's kind of like two-way street over here. Like, I mean, that you feel alienated as well, right? So I really think this is a good opportunity, because Libra, a transition is opposite of your sign. And that's when we as a sign feel at the weakest, right? We feel that, gosh, I have no energy, I need to do stuff, right? But you need to begin for the good things in world and in very good things in you, and you need to go with that. Acceptance is the key word for you in this period. So I really hope you do it, and I really hope you, I don't know, possibly repair relationship, or find time to be with your friends. There's like something about it, but try to bury the hatchet down. That would be my advice. Okay, so thank you, Barbie. I appreciate this. Look at all of these emojis. That's awesome. So, guys, you can guess for the next one that we have outside over here. So we will see if we will do 6 or if we'll do 12. Let me see. What do we do in the way of calendar? I'll try to go for 12. I'll see how much energy I have. Oh, I did open it before you guys said anything. So, oops, sorry, that will be Pisces. And I'm going to pull the next one, and anything that you submit, I'm going to take for anyway. So I'm going to take Taurus and Leo for the next one, unless you want to change it. My apologies, but it was like no harm because nobody guessed Pisces. So let me just put their thing here. All right, Pisces. 11 in chat. Okay. Let's go for Pisces. Thank you, Lorna. We have the Empress. Ooh, we have 10 of Cups. Do we have any Pisces here? I have like these 2 kittens that are Pisces, and I'm just like really studying them, because I actually, I personally had bad experiences with Pisces. I just like found them very fleety, both women and men. They can turn on you and become little piranhas like in an instant. It's possibly a different kind of a relationship that I have with kittens, because they are absolutely lovely, and they absolutely like, I mean, they're like cuddly, they're loving, they're all over the place, but it's kind of like glad that kind of have that experience and kind of like learning this about, this one wanted to come out, and it is creation. So Pisces, I always see Pisces also. um, I have been studying lots of French recently, so I watched that was like this play from Sartre. It was called No Exit in English, or Doors Closed. It's original in French. If you haven't watched it, I recommend it. It's only an hour and a half. You can go in a local theater, or you can just watch it on YouTube, which is really, really good. Um, the point of it is really interesting, and I can tell you the plot without really removing the enjoyment of the watching. So three people find themselves in a room, right, with this really interesting kind of like garçon, who kind of like comes in to bring these people, and they're bickering, they're talking about themselves, and they're talking about that they died, and they actually realize they're in hell. They also realize there are no chains, there are no fire, there are no stuff. But very soon it becomes very evident that they really feel they're in hell because of their, roommates, that they kind of like have it as a sharing kind of like thing. So the famous line toward the end is like, oh, hell is other people, which kind of like was there. So why am I saying this story to you? Because this is nothing about hell. It's all about uh, very kind of like heavenly, if anything, right? Because I consider Pisces sort of like, and as I just had the introduction, that I kind of had a bad things happen, but I also have great things happening with the addition of the family into Pisces. That you guys are the bringer of the taste of the other side, right? That you are the kind of people who can show us and maybe direct us. It's almost like you're the gentle teacher from the other side, because like I think the Pisces don't come to this planet to learn lessons. They're more or less sort of like, let's say, coaches from the other side that kind of like stir us like on our way, and that kind of like really led me to tell you, because I saw this creation card, right? Because this was like talking about kind of like she's talking to this birch, right? I think it's a shaman of some sort. She's talking to the birch, and she's like saying that everything was created and everything was kind of like decorated, but like, I mean, she didn't really do anything for herself, right? Because but Birch said, like, what do you mean? Like, you are a muse. You're telling everybody those, like, long tales. Like, we are all learning from you. And, like, you're artist. You had your art all along. It was really kind of, like, interesting to listen to you all the time. You shouldn't kind of, like, put yourself, like, I mean, down, right? So then she realizes that her contribution is seen, that it was not that she was just passively kind of, like, doing it, right? Hello, that's Jasper. This is my little Pisces coming doing Pisces reading. You're doing what Safi used to do, huh? Are you a good girl? Are you a good girl? I was just saying how lovely you guys are. Yes, she is her brother. He's very cuddly. He wants to be all over you. And she's like Miss Independent. She kind of like wants to do her own thing. And I just hope she's not going to take the new thing. So Pisces, with this great visit to bring you extra luck, I just want to say here that you clearly need not anybody's permission to create your life. And I think it is a time to claim your own gifts, because this is enjoyment mostly of the family. And while you might have some kind of like disagreements over here, I think this is only to kind of like put your foot down to what you can do and what you cannot do, right? So if you think that you are not somebody's muse, you just need to think again, because there are like many people that you benefited, and if they didn't kind of like pick up on it, well, so be it. Kind of like this is really on them. Also, I feel this is a lot about beauty and artistry. You have Venus over here, and that is transition of Libra. So please go back and check Libra transition as well, because it's going to influence you here. This is about beautifying yourself. This is about beautifying your place. I think you're going to kind of like create your own magic in this period. And if this means ruffling a few feathers, as we are seeing here, so be it. As long as you know that that's the way, it's going to kind of like roll. But, enjoy yourself, get your money, get your petty, get your hair done, and it's going to make you feel much, much better. So, okay, Barbie did put Sag over here. Lorna, is it still Leo, or do we have more over here? I'm going to pull another one. Let me see. We had Libra, so we're still running. So you're going to get this one. I'm going to pull another one here. Let me see. Capricorn. I guess Chris lost track of because I have been on just twice during the entire summer. So, but anyway, he's in my thoughts. All right, so let's go. Capricorn. Oh, I better put the Capricorn stamp so I can transcribe it later. Capricorn. Let's see. Capricorn. We have the Hangman. Okay. See, Lorna, you can also click on Barbie's comment, and then it shows Barbie. Okay, Capricorn, so what do we see here? We have the Hangman, we have 8 of Wands reversed, and we also have 8 of Cups. So, and we have dissipating. That's really interesting. So the first thought that came to my mind was that you are really enchanted by someone, that there's like something that is going on that feels, I want to stay in here, but it also feels that is not right, right? The Hangman is the Neptune principle, and Neptune kind of like stirs our moodiness and our emotions, right? Dissipating card also talks a bit about the stories and about invention. Like it could be like that very much Piscean world as well, right? So dissipating really talks about this parrot and this lady were always watching this like movies on television. They were always come up with their own plots, and they were so good at it that the entire family kind of like encouraged them, like, you need to write your own play. And they have actually, raised the money from the entire kind of like family and friends to make their own screenplay a reality, right? But then when the push come to shove, they said, oh, we're so tired of all this kind of like thinking and planning. Let's just like take a trip. Let's take a cruise. And then when we come back, we are going to do it. But by the time they got back, like this whole enthusiasm about doing it, it was just, kind of like went away. And it just like really didn't happen. So for the rest of their lives, they were just talking about these great stories and how they were destined to do that. But the truth is, the story was a fantasy, not a reality. Also, what we see in this card over here, we can see the mouse and the broom. I don't know if you can see all the elements are here as well mentioned. And there are cards, and that really reminds me of Onyx. He still likes to climb my drapes. So the Neptune card is about us gaining a different perspective. It's kind of like looking at things from different eyes. And I think that's what I said. It almost looks like you're really trying to make something work. Really, really trying. Because 8 of Wands reversed is still a very positive card. It talks about sharing niceties, sharing kind of like lovey-dovey messages that can be expressions of love. When it's reversed, it just gets a little bit slower and it's not as intense, right? But look, I'm connecting this all to this card of this dissipating, of this kind of like fantasy. So are you guys living in the fantasy? Are you really trying to make something work that really cannot work? Because in the 8, I'm seeing you guys leaving, right? And like you're very unhappy about this leaving, but you're still leaving because you're feeling that this is not really fulfilling you. The really interesting part about 8 of Cups is like that all the cups are standing, they're all full. So the problem is like you really cannot put your finger on what's wrong, but you do know something is missing. So in the 8 of Cups, you still have 2 stages, right? Like, I mean, you're walking away to find your own personal happiness in 9 of Cups. And then if you still want to continue with the happiness with the others, then you go to 10 of Cups, right? But there is also a possibility we don't have to always go forward. We can always go backwards. You can go to 9 of Cups and you can find that you find being solo and being happy solo is not necessarily what you wanted. And you go back to this 8 and you return back to this person. Or you can also continue in a different direction. This also could mean a little bit of crossroads for me, that maybe a person wants more than you are able or willing to give at this stage. That also talks to me that, you're going in circles, or there's like some kind of like procrastination in this entire thing. But nonetheless, there is like companionship and there is like a connection over here. So somebody is going to, maybe this is not you, maybe your partner is just saying we just need to take a break. And sometimes it's good to take a break to absorb, because like we just like when you try to eat, when you put too much on your plate, all of a sudden like you're overwhelmed, right? And like you don't know really how to go it. So just kind of like, I think it's going to be a month for you, my dear Capricorn, to sort out your thoughts, but mostly emotions, because like this is very much to me emotional and dreamy combination. Also, it could mean that maybe you have a picture of what a perfect partner should be, but the reality is that people are just real and people come in kind of like real kind of like attitudes. So we can go from there. Okay, guys, let's go on the next guess. Barbie's guessing Gemini. I'm going to shuffle this a little bit. 2, 4, 5. I'm doing okay, I think. 5. I might go for all 12. So this is going to be the next one. Lorna. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. The sugar, the stevia that I was using for my coffee went from $56 to $104. I was like, everything is such a sticker shock. It's just really ridiculous to really think about it, right? So we don't have Lorna, and we have Aquarius next. So let's see. Aquarians. Lorna, close. It's a fixed sign, but hi, Matrix. Hi. Hello. 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 Hey, yo. He's pulling the camera and everything with him. Hey, just don't break it. Don't break it. Yes, I love you. And I think he's Taurus. Even though we are celebrating. And I think, Lorna, you picked up on Matrix, because I'm actually celebrating as a Scorpio, because I found him, or saved him, right, to say October, just before Halloween, from the bed kiddos, right? So we are doing Aquarius. Can we do Aquarius? And you can bring us luck. Yes. This is how I sleep, with him trying to always be my husband, right? Okay, let's do Aquarius. Can you hear him purr? Hi, Matrix. Okay, so we have 7 of Pentacles. We have, that would be my phone ringing. I don't even know my phone number. How ridiculous this is. They give you this phone with the internet, which is cheaper than just internet. So it's like, I give you the phone, and now this phone is ringing, and I never pick it up. So really interesting. Look at this. We have 2 sevens. So 7 is 7, 14. So it's 22. It's a master number. This is like the moon in Aquarius here, interestingly enough. And we have abundance here as well. Okay, so no majors, which means that even though it could be kind of like tricky points, and it's going to be a lots of kind of like navigating, let's say, wild waters. So it's going to be sort of like a wild water rafting. I have to say, it's going to be a month of choices for Aquarians. So Seven of Pentacles really talks about rearranging, reorganizing, making sure that everything works. Seven of Pentacles to me shows that somebody is really tending to their garden, and then they realize certain things are blossoming and the other things are not blossoming. So now it's decision, like, do I kind of like, what do I do to revive the parts that are not doing well? Do I just remove them and replant something else, or what, right? But this is literally kind of like when we are paying attention to it, because we kind of have a vision where we want to be. We are not there yet, but we are on our way. So we kind of like see the end result almost happening, but we still need to do some modifications in order to get there, right? Which is like then confusing that right after that there's like this exit, because maybe it feels that that can be a very Aquarian thing. We are like Uranus driven, and we can just drop everything in an instant and just vanish, right? My friend said, I was trying to call you for 7 days. I don't know where you left. I just like thought, oh my gosh, what happened, right? And I just like took one of those last minute deals, and I packed in 2 hours and I went on vacation, and she was going insane. And I didn't realize that this is kind of like affecting other people. Hi, Cheryl. Here is like another Aquarius. That's awesome. I also had my high school reunion last month, which was really interesting. I'm not telling you which one. It was lots of years reunion, but I didn't realize how many Aquarians we had in a class, and many of us really didn't change nature very much. So this card is really also interesting. That is really telling a story, and it can really go in different directions. So one talks about worry, and this card can connect with the worry. I worry, so hence I need to really quickly tend to this garden to make it happen. Meanwhile, there's like somebody who is patient and who is like patiently kind of like trying to do it, because this is a tale of this trunk, and the trunk is talking about a foolhardy man who is drinking and who is losing his coins, right? And the girl who kind of like heard the stories about men losing coins and who did manage to fish them, and she was also hardworking, as she kind of like bought a house. So there's like a little continuation of the attitude over here. That attitude and patience is really important over here, right? Because like these coins, remember how the girl saved them, and you know how basically they become like a part of something much bigger, right? Because these 2 cards are telling me that Aquarians need to think about their relationship with money, right? So which one are you? Are you spending your money foolishly and somehow it's just slipping through your fingers? Or are you kind of like using them and applying them into something really useful over here? I really think that also, I think this card probably talks about regrets in this combination, because it's also with this that you're thinking about people who have taken away from you, people who took you for a fool, people who took advantage of, right? So it is really important over here that you find empowerment. And this entire combination of 22, as I told you, that adds to it. 22 is a master number. And 22 is a master builder, right? 11 would be master psychic, let's say. 22 is master builder. 33 is master diplomat, I would say, right? And each of these vibrations we have sometimes like either as a major feature or as a minor feature. And don't feel sad if you don't have it as a major feature, because it's very difficult to live life with master number, because you're like apprentice for about 40 years of your life, which means you have to learn everything bad that can happen in order to know how to control the power, because you're given a promise that you'll be given this great power if you conquer the lesson. Sometimes people conquer this lesson and become the best drug dealer in the world, which kind of like lots of people die. So you can see how, these vibrations of these numbers have to be very responsible. So there is like a promise of abundance, guys, here. Like, so this all, I'm telling you, it's some kind of warning in order to prepare you for something really big. So there is like this 22 lurking, talking about it. I'm going to play lottery today. I want it easy. I don't want it with all of these fishing coins. But kidding aside, right? There's like some negativity, there are some emotions, there are like hindrances that are in a way, and they need to be released, because without releasing them, there is like not going to be this positivity. So there is going to be some kind of like windfall, guys. And if in that windfall somebody grabs some money away from you, just take it as a part of that it was never meant for you to grab the everything, right? So that's kind of like landing down on a positive, because you're meant to get something else, and you are not, just don't be the one who absorbs the karma of dealing with this person. Just let it be. Just like that's what I did with PayPal. PayPal doesn't want to give me money back for the person who broke in my account and purchased the stuff on eBay, even though eBay did acknowledge, did send the letters. And I'm just thinking, what? Instead of me getting all engaged, it was not that much money. It was like $200, but still, I think this person is going to have to deal with this karma, right, on its own. So Aquarians, just release negativity and move forward. So it's going to be very important, right? Okay, let's go next, guys. What are you guessing? Let's go, and I'm going to be before, after. I'll shuffle. Karma always. I know, I have been recently watching lots of things about UFOs, and I don't know if you guys follow these hearings in your American Congress and Senates, where there were like whistleblowers talking about how we have been kind of like suppressed of knowing the truths, and how not only did we have the visitors from, looks like they call it identified, right? But there's like no technology on this planet that can be done. So hence probably might not be from a different planet. Maybe it's a different dimension. But I have been watching a lot of it. Hello, Sally. So good to see you. So nice to see you again. Okay, so we have a Gemini here, and we have a Leo. Oh my gosh, Lorna, you're freaking on the roll. You are on the roll. So Lorna, let's put another thing over here. So this is for the next one. So let's see. So what is it? Let me just stamp Leo. Okay, Leo. It's interesting because after Aquarius we have a Leo, and Leo is on the same axis, right? So it's really affecting as well. And Sally is a Leo, so it just like came right in this moment. So that's just amazing timing, Sally. So let's just see it. Leo. So we have Six of Swords. Six of Swords. Ooh. That could be some Leos that are born in July, that very last week of July. That can be their card, because generally it's a strength card. And but it could be this one. Oh my goodness. This is really interesting. Okay, guys. So we have a Six of Swords, we have the Chariot, which is a major, and we have Ace of Swords, which I consider karma card, right? So it's the only major minor arcana that I kind of like placed in karmic cards. And the reason why I use this card and I chosen this card is because after the major arcana, the suit of swords follows, right? Sword is like that connection with God, it's connection to the spirituality. It's more or less like the executioner, right? Sort of like a God said that I gotta do this, right? Kind of a thing. So this is like one of the fastest, if not the fastest card, and this one is also extra, extra fast. So Leo, it's going to be a really interesting month for you, right? So first and foremost, you have this like Six of Swords, which to me is always bridged over troubled waters, right? And like it's so adorable. Look at that little kitten and like these big eyes and looking something behind, and so glad that kind of like they're leaving something behind. They are not on the other side yet, so they are not quote unquote, let's call it saved, right? But they're making all the necessary kind of like steps to kind of like go in this direction, right? Quest is also very similar here, right? Because it talks about the villagers who are living isolated from the world, and like there's like this big swamp around them, and and they just got used to that. It's almost like impossible to go anywhere, right? But there's like this old woman that lives over there, and she decides finally. She said, "You know what? I'm old, and I was always here, but like it's time right now to try to go across this deadly swamp, right? That's how everybody was discouraged, and just walk this, try to find a trail they were talking about, that blue navy trail, right? Which is the path that kind of like exists, right?" And she says, like, it's not really important, right? But as she kind of like makes the determination that she's going to go, she starts seeing that this path is appearing before her, right? So very similarly here, right? So when we set the destination, even though we know the end goal we want to kind of like achieve, there's like a little bit of the road appearing along the path over here, right? So this is also a time for some kind of like self-discovery. This to me sometimes can represent an abused woman who is leaving a relationship, or leaving a relationship that is not fulfilling her needs, right? So she's I'm taking kids, I'm taking everything, off we go, kind of a thing, right? There's like clearly some kind of like quest going on. So it is time to take a risk, and Chariot is also the risk taker, big risk taker. It's kind of like you're slamming your fist on the table. You're saying how the things are going to go. There's a lots of courage, there's lots of wisdom. You are really committed to doing things your way, right? It's really interesting because I was just saying that Aquarius was just right before you, and Aquarius is the same axis, right? Like it's not necessarily that you go up and Aquarius goes down. It just like simply means that there's like the opposition of the planets and elements that will be basically existing over there. And so this is really important because Aquarians were basically told they have to really focus on the important things, that they need to kind of like release regrets and move forward. And like you are the ones who are making them move forward, because like your stuff is like, whew, like look forward, forward, forward. This is a card of victory. This is the card, look, everything is like here. I'm claiming the stuff. I am holding this gate. It's me and I'm important, right? So if you really look at this, is the quest. This is going into the victory. And also what is really important in this card, this is like a mind, kind of like, what would be the word? You conquered your mind, like you like it's some kind of like superiority of a sort, right? Because he has to kind of like move forward, but look, he has no reins whatsoever, so he's using his mind powers to suggest kind of like things, motions. So you guys at this stage, you're feeling that maybe you got stuck in the rut, and this is a time, it's time for you to roll up your sleeves, and you're moving in a completely different direction. So also because you have swords, you're communicating, like you're really communicating well, who you are, what you want. And also with every step, the more of a path is opening before you. And that is going to be very exciting for you, because you really felt and you really convinced yourself that this is it, that you're not really needing to move forward, that you maybe cannot go forward. Remember this little swamp story. So good for you, Leo. I guess you're going to kick us Aquarians in the butt a little bit and push us into the motion as well. That's it, Sally. No more nonsense. It's going to be just like that. It's just like you guys are movers and shakers in this period here as well. So guys, give me your guesses for the next one. I'm going to shuffle this a little bit and have a sip of my coffee. Coffee. I hope you guys have your own coffee with you. It's 1 o'clock here. It's a beautiful sunny day, and I thought we escaped the Hurricane Lee. It was just a storm when it came here. I didn't see anything, not even like bad accumulation of leaves, even though I could tell that my crab tree that I have in front pretty much have no leaves anymore. But it was really interesting. Because my neighbor goes, look, your mountain ash tree is just broken in half, and I couldn't see it from my side. So I guess the lead did pass by, and I was sleeping. That's amazing. Yeah, and now we have Sagittarians. So do we have any guesses for this? I don't think so. So we can move it Saggies, and I'll just take the next. Fall is beautiful, and I just really hope that it's going to be long and with these beautiful colors, because it just makes it really spectacular for pictures. So let's go Sagittarius. Let's put a stamp here. Sagittarius. Sagittarius, what is going on from transition of Libra? And cards jumping out for you, whole bunch of them, no less. So you have Ace of Swords, which is a karma card. You have a Queen of Cups, you have a Knight of Pentacles, you have a Nine of Wands, and you have the Moon. Oh boy. So I don't know, Sagittarians, if you're dealing with Pisces or if you're dealing with Scorpio. There's like the emotional ground over here. I see that, especially if you're dealing with Pisces. It could be Pisces, it could be jealousy. Like you really need friends over here. Like this is like, I'm just like feeling overwhelmed with the information that I'm sensing. Just like I used to have this like visuals coming to me, and now I'm just like feeling that there are so much information flooding me with it. So first of all, whatever it is, I just need to process it on a human level. So there is like this executive decision, like there is like some kind of victory. There's like something that is really moving forward. There's like something positive going on with the Scorpio. So it could be a Scorpio, it could be an earth sign, it could be a mother and a daughter here as well, or it could be, this also could be some kind of like engagement or something really serious going on over here. Because as I said, I always, even though this is earth sign, I always see that as kind of like Aquarian symbol, as willingness to embrace the different, willingness to kind of like be a friend. And also it tells me sometimes, like, you know, when people look for the one and they cannot find it, they realize the one was right next to them all along. It was that, you know, geeky girl or boy that they didn't even pay attention to, who they just realized, oh my God, but this person is just like pure gold. So it could really talk about that, right? That you are like now looking down versus looking up, because Sagittarius is like this sign of expansion. It kind of like rules this, like really, was it, I think, 9th house, or is it 10th house in Sagittarius? 9th house, right? So there is like this knowledge and philosophy that really goes on there, right? But then we have like this 9 of Wands, and this is also 9, right? Because if you think 18, 1 and 8 is 9. So we are starting at the beginning with 1, and then we are ending up at 9. So there is going to be a lots of things happening this month for you, right? So it's almost going to be beginning and it's going to be the end. So something is going to start really well in this like first week. It's going to be full of good affirmations. And I still didn't even pull this additional card to kind of like really give you a little bit of let's say advice, because I'm seeing here a ridiculously a big story. It's going to be filled with people, but you know, it's going to be some kind of disputes. I feel strongly that you Sagittarians are, in spite of everybody doing everything right, that you are feeling like fish out of water in this particular situation, that you feel there's like something really going on, like because there's like a wounded warrior and he's saying, I'm fighting and fighting and fighting and I really want to win. But he's determined that he kind of like continues to kind of like go at least one more step, right? Or one more step. But then we get the moon right after, which is a major, and it's coming as the last one. And the moon major is really talking about uncertainty. It talks about not being sure what is real, what is not real, which is really interesting that the card that I pulled is soulmate. And soulmate is a really, it sounds great, but it's really a card that really talks about the guy who just enjoys this like initial stages of dating and where there are butterflies and everything. But the moment when that quality is supposed to shift into something longer and something supportive, he loses interest and he kind of like has it packed down how he's going to go through this process. He's going to tell the girl, hey, you know what, you know, it's not you, it's me. And kind of like, it's just kind of like, she will just cry and he will be done. He'll be over. He can kind of like move to the next flower if he wants, right? So he's telling that to his girl here, and he's ready to kind of like leave her. But then she looks deeply in his eyes and she said, well, that is your choice, but I love you, right? So he's just looking at her and feeling that he cannot really talk, because look at, there's like the third eye opening, but it's also talk to the hand, kind of like a thing over here as well, right? So he is just now realizing that he cannot roll the rest of that script that he had prepared of his tongue, right? And he also realized that he shifted to the next level and he's able this time to feel, actually it is a love. It's just like it feels different, right? So this is really talking about, you know, like a beauty, like, is rose not beautiful because it has thorns, because you get pricked on it? And this is also like talking about change, because this is not your element. Like water is not your element, earth is not your element. We have a fire here, and that would be also element that you feel comfortable with, but everything else is really not your thing over here. So I really think in this particular period, you will be speaking your truth, which we do know that Sagittarians speak their truth, right? Being a fire sign. So Aries and Sagittarius can be a little bit on a direct, blunt side. And also Sagittarians really, really love their freedom, right? But it's going to be some kind of transformation, because the moon and this Piscean principle is like the pearly gates over here. And this is conscious and subconscious. There are elements. There's the sun and the moon in one, but only this little lobster is actually finding the path to the other side, right? So if you guys choose love, if you choose to kind of like be accepting of different forms of love, that, you know, you can trust the process, kind of a thing, I think that is going to be something that's going to be very revealing and really beneficial for you in this period. But it's not going to be easy, because you're going to feel it. No, I have it down packed, but it's going to really surprise you, because the people you have in your life love in a different way. They have this like water sign type of love, which is like deep. It doesn't really, like sometimes just looking and touching the person is also expression. It doesn't have to be like a fire sign, doing things all the time, bringing roses. So it is going to be just understanding different quality of life in this particular situation. So I really hope, if you guys know Sagis, it kind of like makes sense to you, because Sagittarius also move very fast as a sign, and for them to kind of hold down and put an anchor down is not the easiest thing in the world. All right, so who is next here? And like, how are we doing? Oh my gosh, how many more? Oh, look at that. I'm actually not doing badly today. So that's good, because we have a nice day. And after live, I think I'm going to go for a walkie with Mr. Tiger. So Barbie's going for Taurus. So how many more do we have? So we are going to guess. That should be probably the last guess. So Taurus. Anybody else, guys, guessing? Anybody else guessing? I'm going to pull it to me over here. Okay. It's a Scorpio. I'm going to let you guess the next one, and that's the last one. So Scorpio. Scorpio. So let's see, Scorpios. Scorpio. Scorpio, guys, please don't forget, please like it. I don't know, sharing. Like, it's kind of weird when you tell people share it, because people do know where to find me, right? Okay, so this was just a little bit too much of a banal. Sorry, Scorpio. How about give me something concise over here? Scorpio. Ooh. We didn't have a tower in a long time, eh, guys? And one sign that can actually handle it, and this one wanted to come out. Oh my gosh. Scorpio. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa, Scorpio? So we have the tower, we have a 2 of Wands reversed, and we also have a 2 of Cups reversed. So literally, Scorpio, and this is like just before your transition, because we are going to be covering Scorpio in about 4 weeks from now. You are just going to go ballistic this month. You, like, your plans, everything that you had sorted out, everything that you are kind of like hoping to go, it's going to just be turned around. So the tower is always the card that you're getting despondence as well. The tower is the card that affects everybody equally. So it's actually better when it's upright. It's a bigger impact, but at least you're cognizant of what is going on. When tower reverses, things are still happening, but you're like, no, it's blah, 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 blah. It's not happening to me, right? So you are not taking proper actions in the other kind of like situation. At least here, okay, this is it. I need to do something to change it. I need to kind of like go in this direction, right? So the tower is also connecting, if you really think about 16, 1 in 67 to Chariot, it's kind of like that, something fast and swift, right? It really talks about something that is going to shake us to the ground, but also something that demands that we rebuild, that we kind of like go. For you, it's going to be a little bit slippery slope. You're not necessarily going to land on your feet. And I'm really sorry that I really have to say all of this, but like, I mean, everything is coming up to it. So it's better to kind of like be prepared, at least to buckle up, than kind of like other ways around, right? Because I see here that maybe you're going to see somebody, you're going to find that somebody is cheating. Maybe you're going to find that, you're just not able to fulfill certain kind of like plans that you had with a person, because 2 of Wands is usually talking about having the world in your palm and making this like big kind of like putting the big ideas on the table and trying to see which ones you can kind of like do it. But also the despondence, it really talks about depression over here. I did the reading once for a friend of mine. He goes, oh, this really looks like my sister over here, which was really funny, right? But it's really talking about, somebody who is so depressed that she's neglecting herself. And that the very last resort for her is to pray and ask the spirit, like this Mother Earth, as you can see, to come and help her, right? So Mother Earth says, and it's almost the same thing for the tower, if you really think about it, because in the tower we see this kind of like emotion of like that's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And the hierarchy of needs is like you first need to take care of yourself. You need to shower. You need to eat something, right? You kind of like need to clean your house. So that's kind of like the same thing that we do after tower. We clean the mess first. We kind of like nurture ourselves, and that's also what this card says. And like looks like you feel emotionally being let down, and also that your all batteries are empty here as well, right? So you are feeling a little bit immobilized over here, right? Because in this particular card, this person, is just not able to get an energy. Her batteries are also really empty over here. But what happened here, I believe it was the Hurricane Lee or something happened over here, and that prompted her to jump into the action and start helping others in kind of like things. So I think the story that you guys being told over here is that there is a stagnation in your life, and that as per stagnation, things are happening to you versus you making things happen, right? And also that we need to accept consequences, and it's really important. So you need to determine in which part of your life you feel immobilized, right? And you need to trust yourself. You need to trust that just doing like small mundane things like clean your fridge, clean your house. These mundane things are actually going to open up much bigger things for you to happen. So it's very important for you to start taking that action. So there is a movement that needs to happen. You maybe need encouragement. If nothing else, I hope this can serve to you as an encouragement, because that's really what, this is like what the doctor's orders are, right? You guys need to understand that even though it might mean starting from your knees, starting from the scratch, that there's like something really great happening for you in the future, because that's just a temporarily. And it could be something that, it's a lesson you need to learn in order to get to much higher, greater heights later. So I really hope this helps you. Thank you so much. Welcome, Cheryl. I really hope it helped. Okay, the last guess. Last guess. And I think I am doing really well on time this time. Let me shuffle while you're guessing. So it can be Taurus, Gemini, and Cancer. Taurus, Gemini, or Cancer. And this is going to be this one. And Lorna was Gemini. I'm going to put these guys back in the bag. Oh. Okay. Both of you are going for Gemini, so either all win or all lose. And it's going to be Taurus. Blame it on Taurus. Okay, sure. Taurus, let's put this here. So it was the last guess for today. Lorna, you have 2 cards. All right, Taurus. 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 We have 3 of Wands, we have this Knight of Pentacles, and we have Page of Swords. So Taurus, nothing major that you really need to worry about it. Like you have big plans. Maybe you are making some kind of investment. Maybe you're getting in touch with friends. Maybe you're having discussions. This almost could be, it sounds like maybe friends and family. Even though like Page of Swords can be harsh, this could be you, or it could be somebody that is kind of harsh. But it just looks to me even though I do see this card as Aquarians and that kind of stuff, I also can see how that can apply on you as well, right? Because when you're a friend, you're like so much into it, the person, you're loyal, and you stay there for many, many years, right? However, things with you are not by any mean developing in any fast way, but there's like somebody who is demanding from you something swift, right? This Page of Swords is like, I want it now and I want it now and just give it to me right now. So it's almost like that you feel like you're being directed by somebody to do it at a pace that is not really suitable for you, right? As well, right? So, and then I picked Joy over here. It's actually a really lovely card. And I really love it because like we have yellow dominating this reading, and yellow to me suggests happiness. And I used to love yellow for, and then just like if fall out of grace in my decorating. So I just happening. Oh, God, good, it's coming back. I just like thought we're losing the connection. I hope you didn't on your end. So where do I start? Let's start with Joy and this daisy kind of like big over here. So um I think this is really talking about this woman who was, bringing happiness to everybody that she kind of like encountered. And so these people would become very peaceful and entertained, right? And if she would approach people who are arguing, that was just like stopped. And people even healed as a result of like, that like special touch, right? So she became so well known that, the TV station heard about it and they wanted to come and find her and interview her. But when they arrived, she left, right? So very similarly we see these elements of that. So this is like that kind of like going in this direction with the hopefulness, right? This is also going in direction with kind of like support, and this is also kind of going direction with kind of like understanding either naysayers or something else, right? So what is really interesting over here is that with this card, this really talks about the new joyous phase in your life, right? So, what do you guys need to do to invite happiness in your life? Is this like a new business dealings? Because Three of Wands really talks about taking a step, kind of like doing something. You have been planning to do something, but you have talked yourself out of it, right? So I can see the same motion. You again, like you get an urge in the morning, but by 11 o'clock after the breakfast, tomorrow kind of a thing. And then somebody, we agreed. Like some, maybe this is why you need somebody. I mean, this could be really even Aquarius. I really have to tell you that you need somebody who is going to push you, because like your ideas are valid and great, you just kind of like a feeling that you need to pace yourself entirely, right? So but in this particular things, like that stuff in particular is going to really bring you big joy. And I also feel here that this is foretelling a really significant changes for you, my dear Taurus. And it could be moving, this could be a new job of some sort, but this also could be marriage as well. This is the moment for you. This is literally this transition of Libra, and Libra is blessing all engagements and everything. So just keep in mind that is really something right now, kind of like acting with higher purpose in mind, and this is something that is going to profoundly affect everybody, right? So it's going to be a really delightful period, and even though you might feel that like you have like some pushy people around you, you really will benefit with having them and staying them, because they actually will get you where you need to be in time. Otherwise it would just pass you by, the train would sail out and it wouldn't really be there. So Taurus, I'm really glad that you have something so positive coming through to you. So okay, and let's see, the next one is Cancer, so we know which one is going to be the very last one. Cancer. Okay, Cancer. Cheryl, this is the best. I always, like when I watch the other tarot readings, I also watch the other signs, because it really gives me a better perspective. I also watch my ascendant, my sun sign, and my moon sign, as it's really important. Okay, Cancer. You just gave me the 3 cards. I guess this one also wants to come out. So we have 8 of Cups. That's what is coming off. And remember how I was saying it goes to 9 of Cups, and here we go. It's really, really showing. And this is a really great story. Okay, let me pull one card here as well. So I have them all on the table. And we have completion. Holy moly. Because that's very similar to this one. So as I was explaining, and I forgot which sign this was, that 8 of Cups, who was that? Capricorn. Wasn't it Capricorn? I think Capricorn. So 8 of Cups was is the sign where we have all the cups are up, right? All of them are working. They're possibly full of hot milk, as we can see it kind of like boiling over here. But Kitty is still walking in the night. There's like still something really interesting. So why are we leaving when we have such an emotional fulfillment over here, right? We are leaving because we feel this lure. We feel there's like something out there. We feel that maybe there's like something out there for us to experience, right? And from the 8 of Cups, we usually go to 9 of Cups. And 9 of Cups is personal fulfillment, where we feel really good on our own, where we feel that, that's what I need. That's what I want. That's when you have a sworn single. I want to be single, and I'm just like enjoying this kind of like situation here as well. I can see that here for you, that you are kind of leaving something for a personal satisfaction over here. And I don't know if you can see this like beautiful cloth is like full of symbols. Absolutely every single thing is in there. Like you're literally going in some kind of like adventure, and you are just enjoying this time on your own. You also really you kind of like see a benefit of that by holding money to yourself, because that's his treasure chest over here that he decided to kind of like sit atop of it, right? And it's weird because the card goes, you would be kind of like more benefiting because money is the tool of exchange, right? By just holding it on it generally loses value. So if you hold money in a sock at home, right? So that's not going to benefit as much as like maybe gaining some interest or something, right? But like this person here, and it kind of like reminds me, usually Taurus would do that. They would just, store the stuff in the bricks of home and stuff like that, right? So it's really interesting because this is telling you you're karmically getting stuck. So this is Judgment card. It came reverse. This is really not good when it comes, because it almost looks to me that maybe you're going through a very emotional period. I don't know. Did you lose somebody? Are you feeling that you're losing somebody? Because that's one of those cards where, we are facing stuff. You're wondering if you said enough, if you said too much, how do you straighten things? And it doesn't have to be you. It could be somebody else, right? Because here we see this completion card where this girl is like on the grave of her father over here. And even though her father was an actor, before that he was really raised in the orphanage, right? And he basically never had anything until he enrolled in the army, more or less because of poverty, right? But by the end of the war, he was like really celebrated and decorated, like, hero, right? And he was lucky to return where many other people didn't, right? So even though, he did contribute as an actor, he was really still celebrated as somebody who was helping other people, that people could really trust him and rely upon him, right? So I think all of these cards together, if you really think about it, even though these are really some at the end of transition towards Scorpio transition, and that's where you are heading into your territory, because this is air, like you're fish out of water in this particular period, right? You need to cherish all the beauty in your life, including endings, right? So it is something in your past. Like, I really think this is connected with something in the past because it's coming to the culmination, right? If I really add these cards together, so 8 and 4, 12, and 9 is like 21, which is the world, which is kind of like it's the end of the cycle, right? you need to really embrace it. Like if you and that's 21, and then you go to 20 because I cannot add the majors, right? So it's almost like you don't want something to finish, and yet you anticipate this, you anticipate change. So you just cannot have both ways. You cannot eat your cake and having it at the same time. But this also could mean there's like something about your own legacy, that there's like something that um yeah, I don't know if somebody's that you're losing someone in your life, because generally you have those thoughts in these kind of like moments. And I really hope, if this is the case, my dear Cancer, I'm giving you and sending you a big hug, and I really love you for this. But also, it could be simply something metaphorical, that you're like kind of like on on a new path, a new beginning on the horizon, new adventure, right? Honoring those who really give to us. So there is going to be something about determination, because your sign, the chariot, really that represents you, is about goal oriented. It's about determination. We do know that you cannot sleep unless you have at least $1,000 on your bank account, or maybe even in these circumstances 10,000 of some sort, and that you're like right now really feeling stingy, and you're kind of like keeping your purse really closed. But at the same time, you are also feeling that you need to get out of the situation where you are, and you need to kind of like spread your wing and go further. So hopefully this really helps. Oh, Barbie, she said, I have no psychic ability today. What do you think? That I have all good days? Hello? You know? Yeah. And then sometimes on the other hand, like I'm like, holy moly, she's like freaking like smoking hot. So it just happens. All right, guys. And we are opening Gemini, if I am correct, because that's the only one that I didn't dotted over here. So as German says, Zucker comes zuletzt. Sugar comes last. Let me just put this behind me. So Gemini. And please, round of applause for Barbie and Lorna, who are helping with beautiful running, everything. I really appreciate it, because it really helps me, and I focus more on my abilities rather than putting the banners up. So that is really, really great help. So let's do it. Last but not least, that's it. Yeah. Gemini, we have Queen of Swords, which is you. We have the Empress. Like it was just like given to me over here. So you know what? I have really good things to report over here. So Queen of Swords, this is you. So Queen of Swords is a woman who's been through thick and thin. So she has done she has lots of scars, right? But she's not hurting. Just the scars are there to remind her that these are the battles that I have battled. And yeah, some of them have been very, very painful. And some of them, some of them um, have taught us that we are strong and that we are going to win in spite of kind of like everything, right? So that is really important to kind of like really kind of like take into account. So Queen of Swords at this stage is, especially when she's upright, she's very fair, she's willing to help, she steps in, and she sometimes maybe even overreaches, right? So for you, Gemini, I think this is you. That is just telling you, like, lay your sword down. Like, just, it's time not to be in a battle. It's time to kind of like really relax and kind of like do your stuff, because you also have the Empress, and the Empress connects to Libra because it's a Venus, and Libra is ruled by Venus. So this is like the Libra Taurus principle, because both of them are ruled by Venus, where you you really need to take care of yourself. And usually it goes to beautifying, usually it's like friends and family, and kind of like nurturing others, but also nurturing yourself. But also at the same time, don't forget that it's not like subservient nurturing when Empress comes through, but it's in fact very dynamic, where you are putting yourself on a pedestal, because after all, it's the Empress. So we are going from Queen of Swords into some kind of like the Empress, and this is kind of like really done in that way. And it's also, you're going to be feeling on top of the world. And that doesn't surprise me very much because, right, Gemini is a sister sign, it's an air sign. So Libra transition is not a really difficult transition, really, when it comes to that, right? So we have here the Wheel of Fortune that usually spins, and it just denotes karma that goes in all directions, right? At this stage is on the top, and it's a good thing to kind of like take a ride right now and kind of like go in this direction. So two major arcanas again, and they're both extremely positive. So you're going to feel maybe that you have something to say in it, but you're going to be just taken into all of that. Also keep in mind that wheel can change, but at this stage is on up and up, because it also usually happens when you know, like how I always talk when I see tower, I said, well, you know, now you are paying, there's like a karma to pay, right? We just saw with Cancer, it was like a judgment reversed. But no, for you, you're being actually rewarded. Something that you did, something you did really, really well. And like for that reason, you're kind of going in a really, really good direction. And the card that you got is Trickery. And this is a really interesting story over here. So I think the squirrel is in some kind of, what do they call it? Some kind of like contest. Where he has to collect this acorn and stuff. So seeing a dragon with this like massive acorn, and then he noticed him. He put the stone on the bottom, and he put a whole bunch of small acorns. And he said, "Let's trade it." And dragon says, "Mine is much bigger than yours." He said, "But yeah, try to lift it." And then dragon lifts it, and it's really, really heavy, right? And he realized, okay, maybe mine is hollow inside. Let's kind of like make this trade, right? So the trade kind of like does happen, right? But in the end, they both lose because the dragon just realized, well, that was just, I was cheated, right? And the squirrel kind of like gets disqualified for cheating, right, from the game. So because I think this is connecting to Queen of Swords, and Queen of Swords is the only one in this entire reading that talks about trying times, right? But things are really easier asking for help. So I think that was a big lesson for you guys because you're very independent, asking and reaching out, right? So it's also important to know that if assistance doesn't come, you know, then you shouldn't get disappointed. This is just like another lesson for you to learn, and that you really need to stand strong and nurture yourself, right? So you guys need to speak your truth over here, and you kind of like need to also possibly be vulnerable. And that's also the very good characteristics of the Empress, right? Like we really connect with other people when we kind of speak our needs, and we are vulnerable. That's where really that touches our soul. Air signs don't have that ability as much as the other signs, right? And this is kind of like asking you to kind of like give that exercise a try, right? So also it's very important over here, if you're mulling over in your head that you'll maybe have some accusations, or that you know that you have hidden motives, that you need to examine yourself and just like, I mean, deal with it yourself in order to release it, because you are going to be very successful in releasing this and handling it before it gets out of hand, because you're clearly landing on your feet and you're being awarded and rewarded over here. So congratulations over here. The squirrels are digging up my plants. So cute. Okay, guys. So Barbie is right. We are going to do the doors right now. So let me put, actually, before we do the doors, I'll do Lorna. Lorna, you have 2 cards. So let me see what I get for you before I put the stamp for doors. Oof, you got 7 of Swords, and you got Page of Cups. Just like what I saw in Gemini reading, right? It just like feels like there's like some negativity, that you feel that somebody's digging something behind your back. Maybe these are the squirrels in your backyard. This is like that think that you feel that you're working really hard and somebody's taking credit for your work, or Seven of Swords could mean that somebody's taking something that is rightfully yours, but Seven of Swords could also mean that you go and reclaim your stuff, right? So it is really important here that if you wake up from something, or you just like are faced with something, that you do not overreact, right? Or that, just like what we saw in the reading, that you actually are vulnerable, and you, instead of like roaring and storming, which is normal reaction when you feel that you're cheated or robbed, that you actually really can express how sad this makes you feel. Because like this Cup of Cups can actually really talk about somebody being there for you clearly, and that can also talk about the romantic interest in somebody who is absolutely lovely. And that could be like also a water sign, also Pisces in fact, but it could be majorly water sign. But it can be something very light, very much what you could need after some kind of like stressful, let's say, experience over here. So I really hope this helps, Madame, and thank you so much for your help, and thank you, Barbie. So let's get the doors. Let me put the stamp over here, and I'm going to just cut the deck in three, and I'm going to just read the bottom. I'm just going to make the doors. Yeah, did Sally guess anything? I don't know. I thought I saw only two for Lorna, but it's okay. Barbie, it's okay. Okay, so let's do one flicked. So that means I still need to continue shuffling. Continue shuffling. Okay. Oh, Sally guessed Leo? Okay, then when I do this, Sally, I'm going to get your card. Thank you. I didn't see it. Okay. Did I not? I didn't write her down. Thank you. So door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3. So door number 1, if you guys imagine this, you have a death reversed. It's telling me that going in this direction can cause you unnecessary suffering. And it's not something I would advise. That is really something that you already know it's not good for you, but you want to do it anyway. So please, whatever it is, like your drug of choice, this is really telling you, pretty please don't do it, because you know this is not going to be good for you, so don't do it. But you are going to try anyway, I feel, because it is death reversed, right? So what is worse than death? I think hell, right? So just keep this in mind. The door number 2 is Knight of Cups. This has to revolve in a very gentle way, in a very light way. Nothing can be stern or overanalyzed. And if this is done, this is a really, really big yes. And the door number 3 is also a big yes. We have another knight. You also are going to be very supported in this situation, and just allow other people to steer you and guide you, and don't be shy asking for help. So that is very, very important. And Sally, are you still there, Sally? I hope you are. Let's do this. Sally, I'm getting here 8 of Swords for you. An 8 of Swords, look at her. The kitty is blindfolded. We didn't see this card in a long, long time. And I didn't even see it in the readings. It really talks about fear, right? It really talks about going somewhere and like you're in a really good position, but because you're not really seeing, you're not relying on something that really helps you determine the outcome, you're feeling scared. So basically, it's a self-induced fear. And generally, this kind of talks about the situations where we have the influence of the others, where we have situation that maybe we don't want to see. And it's asking you to remove the blindfold and deal with the situation. Because 8 of Swords is always talking about, turning a blind eye to something that is bothering you. So if you just attack it and kind of deal with that, I think you're going to feel much better. So I really hope this helps. So thank you everybody for being here. Let me see when is the next time. Next time is, because now we are going more frequent. The next reading is going to be the next monthly, 21st. So I'll see you on the 7th. On the 7th, we are going to have chit chat day. I'm going to send everybody a link. We can connect on a link, and I will see. Maybe I'm going to pick up a topic to cover, and we'll go from there. So I really hope this really helps everybody. I am so glad to be back. Happy fall solstice, I think it is today. No, equinox. No, no, it's equinox, right? I think so. Is it equinox? Okay, you see, I need to fully wake up, even though it's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm still feeling really like taking it easy morning. I really again want to thank everybody for being here. I thank my big helpers, Barbie and Lorna. Chris, you just woke up. Well, good to see you. We did actually talk about you during the Capricorn. So Capricorn is on 4107. But hopefully you're not going to forget to come and visit in 2 weeks on the 7th of October. I'm going to see everybody. So thank you, everybody, guys. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you in 2 weeks. We are back on schedule. Love you. And in 2 weeks is going to be let's chit chat, let's do stuff. So please, guys, when I send you the link, make sure you have the headsets, so that way we can do that without delays and interference, and we are going to get it right. Thank you so much. I'm going to also put it in timestamps that I put when is the next live. So I'll see you soon. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.